Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to our second edition of hashtag Ask Paul. So I want to make sure before we get into this that you guys are all liking and subscribing to my channel. And in doing so, we're going to continue to do more of these contests where I give away more of my equipment with Warrior, other stuff from my sponsors like GoPro and Red Bull, and we'll make everyone happy. Okay? Capiche? Now I'm going to go through a few of these questions here that we got. Some awesome questions, I've been told at least, because I haven't read them yet. So I'm going to go read them now for the first time and give you guys the answers you deserve. Okay, here we go. Can't see anything in these things. From the top, Elijah Bird submitted this 4 days ago. What do you think was the best moment on or off the field that defined Team USA or the World Games? Didn't expect that one for the first question, so let me get into this. We had some incredible camaraderie on the team, and I think we covered that through some of the other YouTube videos that you guys may have seen on my or Kyle Harrison's channel. And we had what we called the bunker in our dorm. So we stayed in these really tiny dorms and, you know, packed in like sardines, but our staff did such an incredible job of keeping all the food in, you know, preserved, and all the nutritional needs we had were located in this kind of this community area with the lounge area that you have on every floor of a dorm. And we turned it into a bunker. We sectioned it off. We brought in these big blinds and had a big TV. We hooked our computer up, had Netflix going, and then we brought in a Wii, so we had games. We had a little table tennis area, but we also hosted all of our meetings there. We hung the American flag there, and it really felt like home for us. And that was a moment that went on every single day, where we bonded as players and bonded as Team USA, and ultimately built, you know, that relationship that we'll carry on for the rest of our lives. Wonder Strings Lacrosse, Mr. Rabil, about how many Red Bulls did you drink during the World Games? I actually drink Red Bull often. Coming from Lax Brat, Mr. Flowgod Rabil. Mr. Flowgod Rabil, what music do you play before the championship game? I was a little thrown off by the introduction. While I appreciate it, I'll give a quick shout out to my man Connor Martin. I'll never forget Flo Sidon. I like to listen to symphonies that start out slow, and the name of the group is Explosions in the Sky. And then as I get more towards game time, I start playing music recently that I listened to when I was in high school, because I like to kind of touch base to, you know, when I formed my passion for the game. So that consists of a little bit more hard music, like System of a Down, Rage Against the Machine, Linkin Park, Incubus, stuff like that. Incubus not as hard, but System of a Down is pretty turned. The next question came from Merrick Hekmatpour. Sorry, Merrick, I know how you feel. People pronounce my name Rabil. Paul, if you had more time with the Ugandan team, what would you do? Throw a party and DJ for them, maybe? I would love to have done that. Ross Lacrosse, great name, Ross. What is up with your hair, Paul? You know, I'm not really sure. I'm over just having a ton of hair because it becomes really hot and difficult to manage. Although I still love having hair, that's why I think I ultimately have not shaved at the back. Gabriel Leonard, who is the funniest player or coach on Team USA? I'm biased because he's a good friend of mine. I always get a kick out of Kyle Hartzell. I think Beast throws a few curveballs. And then I'm sure what you guys are all familiar with, if you subscribe to Kyle Harrison's YouTube channel, is that cat's pretty funny. I laugh at basically everything he says. And then to add to that question is Kevin Buchanan laughs at everything. So you'll find yourself feeling funny if you talk to Kevin. Jerry D, when you first started lacrosse, did you think you would be playing in the World Games for the US? Jerry, that's a great question, and the answer is no. It's been a dream getting here. MJR215, Paul, what from the World Games do you feel you had the biggest impact on, and what is that impact? Just being a part of it is the, you know, the grandest impact that I could have imagined, being a part of such a great group of guys. Kevin Casey said, who was the oddest roommate pair at the World Games? I don't want to put anyone on blast, so I'm going to say there wasn't. Alright, so a few other questions. This one comes from Jace. If you weren't a lacrosse player, what would you most likely do for a living? Hashtag Ask Paul. I would be in some type of sports business, whether it be on the ownership side, on the management side, coaching something, or marketing. I just love sports. This comes from Anthony D. Giovanni. Paul Rabil, did you pull any pranks on Kyle Harrison? Hashtag Ask Paul. No, I didn't. All right, so the last few. This comes from Connor Dickinson. Was it hard becoming teammates with the rest of Team USA since it's in the MLL, you're playing against them? The answer to that is no. With Team USA, anytime you put on that jersey, you, I think, mutually feel a part of this great organization, this great country. And more than any other moment I've had in my career, you immediately feel like you have to play for the next guy who represents lacrosse from where he's from. It's quite a privilege, and I'm pretty sure everyone feels that same way. Sean Grogan says, what's one new experience you had at the World Games that made you proud to be a lacrosse player? I was fortunate and felt blessed to have been elected to give the opening remarks at the opening ceremonies at the World Games. It was basically speaking to the fairness of the competition and the celebration of the nations participating. And every team was there, and supporters were there, and I was in the middle of the field on a microphone right before we played Canada in the round robin game, and it was a pretty special moment. Parker Vakaroth says, Paul, what is your feeling on the shot clock? Do you feel it should be introduced for 2018 or not, and why? You know, my feeling is that there should be a shot clock at every level in the sport. I think it speeds up the pace of the play, but it really encourages, I think, the creativity that players have, the action, the physicality, and the athleticism that the sport brings. You know, there's things that we could argue left and right, but ultimately, the World Games is the highest level of lacrosse I've ever played in, anyone's ever played in. It represents the best, and I think it should continue to push and improve to be the best rules and the best game. And my personal feelings is that the shot clock brings that out of lacrosse, and it would be great to have that in the World Games. Your winners are Elijah Bird for his question on the best moment I had experiencing in the bunker. Number 2, Connor Dickinson. Was it difficult to form that teammate camaraderie with other MLL guys? Jerry D said, when you first started lacrosse, did you ever think you would be playing in the World Games? And while I didn't have necessarily an inspiring answer for that, I think it brings a great message in setting long-term goals for yourself. Sean Grogan, what's one experience you had at the World Games that made you proud to be a lacrosse player? The most memorable moment of those World Games, and thanks for bringing that out of me, Sean. And then finally, I think a great question for all of lacrosse. Should there be a shot clock? That came from Parker. Congratulations to all 5 guys for participating and winning a Rabil X head. Everyone else, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, and I will continue to do giveaways and continue this segment called hashtag Ask Paul.
Ooh, it's a scorcher. Ooh, it's a scorcher today.
Yeah, let's keep it up with the hand. Keep it up with the hand. Keep it up with the hands. Ball doesn't drop. Ball doesn't drop. Ah!